So you clicked on a magic phone number, and either you are curious or you are calling my bluff. Fair. But behind those 7 digits is a real problem, and it is probably yours. Your practice is in pieces. Scales on Monday, chords on Tuesday, half a tune on Wednesday, and by Sunday, none of it remembers the rest. So, here is my promise. By the end of this video, you will carry every chord in the key of C in your head as a phone number. 7 digit. 736-2514. And I will give you the 5 minutes daily loop that makes those pieces finally add up. First, listen to what the number sounds like. Or you can even play with some bossa rhythm. That is every chord in the key of C in just one line. No chart, just one phone number. Now, why does practice end up in pieces like that? Because we were all told the same thing. Practice more, practice harder. Time will add it up. That is the belief. And the forum are full of players living that exact loop. Practicing every single day, resetting every single week. But time does not add up pieces. Structure does. You do not need a longer practice list. You need the one line that strings the whole key together. And it fits in a phone number. You were not lazy. Nobody ever handed you the line. My name is Junon Choi. I teach jazz guitar as an apprenticeship. The way it was actually passed down. I grew up in South Korea. No jazz scene around me when I was young. Everything I know, I had to get Berklee College of Music and my mentor, Richie Hart. And at Berklee, there was a professor who called this exact line the magic phone number. The name stuck because it works like one. Dial the 7 digit and the whole key picks up. I came to this music an outsider. I had to understand why things work. And this number is the why of an entire key. So you can stop collecting information and start playing real music. So today, 3 things. 1. What 736-2514 actually spells. 2. Why it is magic, including the 3 digits in the middle you have been playing your whole life without knowing it. 3. The 5-minute daily loop that makes it compound. And at the end, why most practice evaporates by Sunday anyway. That is part 2 of this story. Stay with me. So 736-2514, that is the number matching to the scale degree. So in the key of C, the 7 start from the B, and the 3 is E, 6 is A, 2 is D, 5 is G, 1 is C, 4 is F. So what is this number? 7362514. It is the scale degrees in the major scale. So in the key of C, it spells like this: B, E, A, D, G, C, F. One more time: B, E, A, D, G, C, F. If you are familiar with the circle of fifth, this is exact the sequence of that. So how we play them on the guitar, it is actually very, very simple because it is going down to the fifth degree. So if we just found the beginning note, the B, and then once your note is on the sixth string, circle of fifth, the note is right under in the same fret on fifth string. So B, E. This is 7, 3. And we all know this power chord shape. So the power chord is the perfect fifth degree. So our next note from this note over here, E or number 3, that is over here, the power chord shape. And then same thing. This is 2, this is 5, this is 1, and went to the 4. And I guess if we think the bass progression, the bass movement as a melody, then I think this is the most frequently written melody in the human history. But that is, so if we can think the bass motion as a melody, I think this sequence is the most frequently written melody in the music history. So why this sequence is a magic? In circle of fifth, especially in the seventh chord progression, there is a certain type of chord, the voicing we called shell chord or shell voicing, which is just root and third and seventh. So root, third, and the seventh of the chord tone, we can have the full chord sound. And in this circle fifth motion, when the root is going this sequence, the third and the seventh, which we called the guide tone, those are two notes of the guide tones, but one at a time, only one note is moving, which means very, very subtle movement in the chord movement. It is not, it doesn't really need to jump around the fifth motion with one static shape, which is called the voice leading, the subtle movement that is sit on the circle of fifth motion. That is why this sequence is called the magic. And many tune is written in this sequence. Also, if you maybe some of you already noticed that the number 7362514, there in the middle of that there is a really familiar number sequence. So 736 and then 251, right? So we have the 251 progression in this sequence. Before the daily loop, every voicing I am playing tonight, the shares, the guide tones under this cycle, comes from my free essential building blocks, 2 hours of lessons and a 28-page PDF at VoiceLidJazzGuitar.com. I will put the link below. It is completely free. Now, how this number becomes a practice system. But before we go on to that, let me show you what I mean by the guide tone movement. No, we are coming from the 7th degree. So B minor 7, E minor 7. The chord I'm playing is called shell chord. 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. So if we don't play the root of this chord sequence, just play the guide tone only. Then this is the 7, 3, but don't play the root. So what is changing? This from here. Only one note is changing. And then next sequence is 6, which is A minor, but without the root, just these 2 notes. And the previous chord was this. Root should be over here. So one note moving, and then to the D minor, yes. One note moving to the 5 chord, yes. One note moving, one note moving, and to the 4. And many tunes, really many tunes are based off of this sequence. For example, Autumn Leaves. If you play from the 2 and keep going the cycle, that is Autumn Leaves. And if you start from the 6 and keep going, that is Fly Me to the Moon. So I will show you what I mean by the routine. So every day, just practice this just 5 minutes. But play from the 1 chord and end on the 1 chord, so that you can really feel it, that is in the key. Okay, so from 1 we have the 4 is the next, and then go to the 7, and that is our phone number start. 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. So start from the 1 and the ends on the 1. And then play without the root. So that is the routine that I built for my students and my members. And in the building blocks that I talked about, the free 2-hour lessons is based off of this cycle. So please go and check it out. I promised you'd carry every chord in the key in your head today. Now you do, with just a 7-digit. 736-2514. Nobody handed you the line before. Now you've got it. Here is how to make it compound. Every Tuesday morning, I send out a free 30 minutes practice system built on lines exactly like this one. What to run in what order. So this week's practice still exists next week, and it comes together with my free essential building blocks. 2 hours of lessons and a 28-page PDF. The foundation under everything you saw today. One link, one sign up, both free right below. One more thing, because there is a catch and you have already felt it. You can learn the perfect line and still watch it evaporate by Sunday. Why practice disappears and the 10-minute device that makes it stay. That is part 2 of this story. Please subscribe so it finds you well. And if you want to hear a line like this running inside of your tunes, a jazz blues, 3 structures at once, that video is on screen right now. Then tell me below. Did you already know the middle 3 digits? Be honest. I read every comment. You've got the number. Start dialing today. 5 minutes. Until next time, keep swinging.